Our national parks are an American treasure, and we're joined this afternoon by a woman who has visited all of them.
You may know Emily Pennington from her Instagram page, the Brazen Backpacker. She's visited all of our national parks in a minivan, which is so exciting. So first and foremost, welcome. And can you tell us, what was that experience like?
I mean, absolutely amazing, heartbreaking, and once in a lifetime.
Heartbreaking? Why?
Well, I mean, for those who have read my book, Feral, or who are a little bit familiar with some of the story on my Instagram, I was dating someone that I thought I would ultimately marry during the year that I was traveling to all the national parks. And of course, it all fell apart in the backcountry in Alaska, of all places. And and then I had to finish the second half of the year totally alone, which was a new challenge for me.
Interesting. So what did you learn? I mean, some people are lucky to travel and see all the national parks in their lifetime. You did it all in a single year. What did you learn from it?
Honestly, I think that women often, underestimate our strength and our ability to go out and do big, challenging physical things on our own. And I also think that one thing, especially about traveling to so many different US states during 2020 of all times, is that the national parks are this incredible purple space in American politics. You know, they're not on the red side or the blue side of the aisle. They are really beloved by both sides, and I think that is one of the few places, even right now, that Americans can come together.
I think that's a great point. And you even brought up politics. So what has your experience been, seeing that the Trump administration has cut the infrastructure of national parks? Have you seen firsthand the impact?
I actually have. I just got back from Alaska about a week ago. I was doing a backpacking trip in very remote gates of the Arctic National Park. And I not only heard through my guides that for example, the Port Allsworth Visitor Center in Lake Clark National Park outside of Anchorage, it has shortened its hours this season. Gates of the Arctic as well in Bettles, their National Park Visitor Center, has shortened their hours. And then unfortunately, we're seeing a lot fewer, about 40% less seasonal staff. So things like national park restrooms, visitor centers, they might not be cleaned or staffed the way that we're used to seeing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the other part of this. You lived in a van for a year. I mean, that's certainly challenging, I can imagine. What do you think how do you describe an experience like that from someone who, would never do it? Or maybe there are people out there who would.
Yes,
so speak to us all.
I feel like in Denver, we might be talking to the van crowd here.
Yes.
I was not doing like the sexy van life thing. I feel like I gotta like put that right up top. I was doing like the $13,000 minivan version of van life, which was totally amazing. I also loved it because it was so much closer to tent camping than being in an RV, because I was very dependent on, if it was 35 degrees outside, I was inside in my sleeping bag and I didn't have a fridge, and I really had to eat very simple camp meals and rely on non-national park public lands like BLM or national forest land for dispersed camping. And so it's very challenging, but it also really gets you kind of into the heart of living in and with nature. You're very dependent on the weather and the seasonal cycles, and you hear different bird song every morning when you wake up in a different state. So I think it's really magical, but also a very understandably challenging way to travel solo.
You must have really learned a lot about yourself through this experience. Of course, you brought up the heartbreaking part, but just what you just brought up now, what did you learn about yourself?
I mean, I think one of the reasons I titled the book Feral is because maybe it's unsurprising to my friends and family, but I think one of the things that I most learned about myself is just how oddly comfortable and enthralled I was by having this uncommon lifestyle where I was running around doing different things every single day. I was writing a column for Outside Magazine at the time as well. So I was held to a strict deadline schedule as a travel writer. And I think I just learned that I loved it, and I'm still doing travel writing and adventuring full time today.
So cool. And to be so introspective, to spend that much time alone, I think that in itself can be a challenge for people. And you just aced it and wrote a book about it. So congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon. Emily Pennington, everybody. You can find her at the Brazen Backpacker on Instagram.